That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. You just got released and you play for the defensive line, so it's time for you to be a Detroit Lion. Shout out to everybody in the comment section that know your boy gonna talk about every single defensive lineman that is released. But it's not just that, it's the criteria in which they fall under, which is Brad Holmes' general manager favorite type of player. Over the age of 30 and once was injured probably last season. It ain't, hey, this is not, I don't do this stuff. I just talk about it. I'm the one, maybe I put it in your face. Maybe I'm that type of guy to be like, you see this? You see this? I try to tell that maybe that's why you guys get annoyed so much. But what am I talking about? Well, you see it on the thumbnail. You see it on the banner. According to Adam Schefter, the Bengals release veteran defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, who started 7 games last season for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, just to put it out there, he did not play with DJ Reader. DJ Reader was a Detroit Lion last year. Sheldon Rankin was a Cincinnati Bengal last year. So they just missed each other. That's probably why they signed him, is because of DJ Reader's exit in free agency. Now, we'll go over some stats for Sheldon, and I'm going to show you exactly why he is a Brad Holmes type of guy. This is coming from ESPN.com. Here are his stats. You can see from his date of birth, he is turning 31. So he crosses that checks that off the list. Over the age of 30, he was drafted in 2016, a first-round pick by the New Orleans Saints. Now, I just thought about this as I was spitting off the dome. Well. Look at this. He spent time with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. Now I'm even more convinced that he will be a Detroit Lion. He came off an injury. We're going to go into that a little bit. He played under in the same regime as Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. So he spent the first 5 years of his career with the New Orleans Saints, wind up spending 2 years with the Jets, 1 year with the Houston Texans, and probably replaced DJ Reader and played 7 games for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2024. Wind up getting 1 sack in those 7 games. But why was he out? Before we do that, let's look at what he was paid. His contract terms, very similar to DJ Reader, 2 years, $24 million. And that is what the contract was at the time. I think DJ Reader it was like 2 years, $27 million, somewhere around there. Now, if we look at what was going on, and this is why he was not there, okay, for Cincinnati. It said that he had an injury. It said, here it is. Injuries and illness played a role in Rankins not panning out in Cincinnati. He missed 3 games with a hamstring injury before returning in week 6 for the next 5 games. During that span, he totaled 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit. So in the 3 games he played, he had 1 sack. That's not too bad for a defensive tackle. The 31-year-old, well, he is actually 30. He will be turning. Let me make sure. Yeah, he will be turning. I can do math, right? Let me make sure I can do math because I feel like I can't. All right, yeah, I can't do math. He will be turning 31 this season. It's 2025. It's April 2nd. Hasn't passed yet. All right, the 30-year-old missed the final 7 games of the regular season with what Coach Zach Taylor initially said was a viral illness. At one point later in the year, Taylor expressed optimism that Rankins could return to play. However, he never returned and was eventually placed on the non-football injury reserve list in Week 18, the final week of the regular season. Rankins was due a roster bonus by March 17th. By releasing him on Friday, the Bengals will gain $9.6 million in salary cap savings, while also occurring a dead money hit of $2 million against the cap. Now, this is going to affect the Cincinnati Bengals defense, even though Rankins was not really a factor last season. But their defense was terrible, and Trey Hendrickson was the best part of it. And that's probably why they're releasing Sheldon, to make money, because Joe Burrow already said, these are the guys you need to pay. He already said, do whatever it takes, pay these guys, and Trey was one of them. So I could see this might be a move. You have got to pay Jamar Chase this year. He took out a $50 million insurance policy on himself last year, and there's no way he plays this year without a new deal. So expect that to happen. But the Cincinnati Bengals, who are notoriously a cheap organization, are freeing up cap for some reason, and it's probably for a combination of people that they need to pay. There's even talk that they could do something with T. Higgins. I can't remember if he's been franchise tag a second time, but man, I hate the franchise tag. So anyway, Sheldon Rankins, everything that I said falls under general manager Brad Holmes. So hear me out as to why this would happen. One, he was injured. Two, and I told y'all I'm going to be a lot easier on injured players because DJ Reader proved me wrong. All right. Sheldon Rankins, injured, over the age of 30, probably going to be cheap, and also the connection between Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. Now, the good news, and another reason I can see this happening, is because don't forget, Alim McNeill is going to start the season on injured reserve. He is not going to be ready. All signs point to him not being ready in kickoff in 2025. So Sheldon Rankins could come in and be a piece while we're waiting on Alim McNeill. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at this. I mean, when it comes to defensive tackle, I'm going to keep it $150. That's the last thing I'm concerned about because the edges are going to help the defensive tackles. Like, unless you Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, a double-digit defensive tackle, I don't really care. I do not. We can have Benito Jones in there. Like, I don't care. We need edge support. That's what we need, and it's long overdue. And, you know, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it until either it pans out or he's not on his team anymore. Broderick Martin was drafted as a project to be, now it's time to pay dividends. And we're in year 3. There's no reason. So if you're bringing in a guy like Sheldon Rankins or anybody else, if you're drafting a defensive tackle, you have zero faith in Broderick Martin. So until they either call him a bust or be done with him, or he comes out there and does what he was drafted to do, why do we need a DT? Especially like super high. Why do you need expensive? You took a guy with the expectations that he was going to be ready before his rookie contract was over. But let's look and see when Sheldon been in, he long in it too. It ain't no doubt about it. But his best year, it was actually his third season in New Orleans. His sack total is 30.5. His best season was 8 sacks. His worst season was actually last season with the one right there. That was his worst season in his NFL career. But before that, when he played 15 games, he had 6 sacks. That right there is Alim McNeill territory. Alim McNeill, 7.5 the prior year. Alim was at 3.5 before he got hurt, I believe, this year. Yes, because Zadarius had 4 and Alim is third on the list. So Sheldon Rankins could be a Detroit Lion. Now with the connection between Dan Campbell and, well, I keep saying Aaron Glenn like he's still here, but the connection between Dan Campbell, I can see if there's a connection between a player and a coach, we're probably going to see something be done. So I totally expect them to kick the tires on Sheldon. I wouldn't be completely upset with this. I wouldn't. Like I said, I do not care about a defensive tackle. I know they are important. I understand that, but why I don't care is because this is why you took Broderick Martin 96 overall. This is why you gave up a 4th round pick and 2/5 for a guy, because in year 3, he was supposed to be that guy. So if you do this, if you bring in somebody like Sheldon, to me, is not where I would, if we draft somebody, if we took a DT in the 1st round, and when we took it, anyway, let me not go down that rabbit hole. Oh, by the way, there is some misinformation out there. We went over it yesterday. Broderick Martin was taken 96 overall. Max Crosby was taken 100 and something, 106 or 7, somewhere around there. It's somewhere around there. Josh Sweat was taken 130. So yes, they were both taken after Broderick Martin in terms of number. Can you believe that neither Max Crosby nor Josh Sweat were taken in the top 100, but yet Broderick Martin was? I have no idea. And I was for this guy. I went back and I watched my draft reaction. I gave him all the opportunity in the world. all the opportunity. I was trying to be optimistic. But when 3 years later, you still don't have the thing that you've been screaming about needs to be repaired, still isn't repaired, it's a problem. It's a problem. Also, yeah, listen, got to be careful who you trust on the internet. I know you guys come to me for information. There are other Detroit Lions content creators you come to for information, and you got to be careful. You really do. I implore everyone, whether you listen to me or whoever you listen to, do your own research. That is important. Don't take everything we say with a grain of salt, but I do appreciate the fact that you trust us. I take that to heart, and it means a lot to me, all right? So I do try to do the best I can in terms of research, and sometimes I make mistakes, but I will own up to those mistakes if I make them. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Sheldon Rankins, would you be mad? Do you see the Detroit Lions taking a flyer on him? I absolutely do. Everything over 30, cheap. Connection to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, injured. All of that equals Brad Holmes type of guy. You tell me I'm wrong in the comment section. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't. You can't, right? I'm that one friend that is like Captain Obvious, right? You just hate to hear him talk because he just is always saying, man, I know, bro. You keep on telling me this, but I already know. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Let me just be very clear about something. I'm not a beat around the bush type of guy. The only reason I'm beating any bush is because I'm trying not to create drama. All right. But I just want to tell you this. Sometimes you got to handle things. All right. You got to, when your favorite YouTuber, I'm not saying that's me, but when your favorite YouTuber, why have you ever seen why internet drama is it's a thing? Because it is a thing. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes you got to go head on. Okay. I don't know if this is going to come to that, but it might. And I'm telling you, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. There's a saying back 20 years old, almost 20 years. The only thing I wish a brother would. I wish a brother would, but he ain't. Oh, man. The only thing I wish a brother would.